Hey everybody, welcome to the first video of the MJHS Fishing Channel. Thanks to those of you that subscribed already. I appreciate it, and this is going to be a place for you guys to be able to learn, for me to put some tutorial videos together, and eventually when the weather gets warmer, I'll be able to hopefully live stream some fishing outings that I have, whether it's at some local ponds or maybe out of state or even at a river somewhere. But I'd like to see where it goes. Something that I talked to you about during our meeting the other day, our first meeting the other day, was that this is going to be an educational club. I know some of us probably consider themselves to be advanced, and that's great. But some of us aren't really advanced, and some of us are here because they want to learn and they want to be able to have some skills to get out on the water. So a lot of these videos are going to be tutorials on simple skills to get out in the water, whether that is putting line on a reel, whether that's putting a reel on a pole, something simple as that, or a reel on a rod, or even tying specific knots. We're going to have videos for all of that stuff. The first video that I wanted to talk about with you guys, or at least to demonstrate, was to tie a simple knot. Something that I struggled with when I was your age and even a little bit older was I really didn't know how to tie a knot very well. And when I did, I found that it was pretty loose and I would lose quite a few fish because it just wasn't sufficient. So I'm going to demonstrate the best that I can. I'm going to demonstrate a knot, basically the only knot that I tie ever, just for the type of fishing that I do, and that's called a Palomar knot. It can be a little tricky to get the hang of, but over time it's just kind of like tying your shoes. It's very easy to learn it. You'll be able to tie on, tie off within 30 seconds to a minute anytime you want to tie something on once you learn this. So a good thing about this being on our YouTube page, you're just going to be able to rewatch it and you can practice it as you go. So some of you might know this, others might not. So what I have here is just a simple weighted jig head. This might be something that I put a creature bait, a crawdad bait, during the summer, maybe a worm bait or a plastic worm on here. But usually when I tie it on without the bait on it, because it just gives me a little bit more freedom on not having to put the bait actually through it. So just want to demonstrate this to you guys. So I have this yellow fluorescent line. Sometimes I use it. I try to not use fluorescent line all the time, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. So this is called a Palomar knot. So with whatever hand you're comfortable with, you take the empty side of the line, or the open side of the line. You're going to put it through the jig head here. So what I tend to do is I put it through and I end up holding on to the jig head with the hand that I put the line through. So you're going to want to pull about, I don't know, probably with this setup, probably close to 10 inches of line. As you get better at it, you don't need that much, but to get started with it, you probably want to use that much. So you have the open end here, and you're holding the line with the original hand. You're going to bring it back through the eye. Sometimes it takes a little bit depending on the lighting. So I have it where now my hook is dangling. So I have the loop end here where it's completely closed off, and then I pulled it back through where my original piece of line is over here in this hand, and I have the open end here. And just like tying a shoe, you're going to twist it. You're going to end up holding it with your original hand, whatever I would say your dominant hand is, where you have this loop here. So you have a loop. Then you want to pull the loop. Sometimes it takes a minute. Pull the loop through to where you can pull it through like you were tying a knot on a shoe. You want to pull that tight. Pull that tight where the line is now on the top. So you have your open end here, as well as the original line. And now you have your loop here. With the loop, you're going to want to pull the loop or pull the hook through the loop. So now all of the line is on the top of the jig head. And then the original piece of line that's really connected to your reel, you're going to pull, keep pulling, where you come up with a pretty tight knot. I always wet it a little bit to make it just a little bit tighter. And then you have this little piece of line left over. Now, I'm pretty guilty of using my teeth, but you shouldn't use your teeth. You should always try and use the clippers or scissors or something like that. So you want to clip it not too close where you just end up ruining the whole knot. But you want to clip it where you have maybe 1/16 of an inch of line remaining, just so that you know that there's some there. You clip it, and there you go. I don't want to hook myself, but there you go. So that's a simple knot that I use pretty much all the time. It's worked for me. You don't lose too many fish on it. It's kind of tough with braid if you're going to use braid, but if you're using any sort of just a regular 8-pound test monofilament line, it's going to work for you. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to type in any comments, let me know. And thanks for watching the first video.